Hey Biscuits, welcome back to the Wholesome Feed. So I thought I'd do one of our old-fashioned sit-downs, hello, and answer a question that I've been seeing brought up a lot lately, which is pregnancy and body image. And trust me, I understand, when I was pregnant with my son, it was a big adjustment to see all the changes, and I think honestly, it was even more of an adjustment to see the changes that postpartum and just motherhood and getting older does over the years of being a mother, right? It's not just those initial 9-10 months, it's all the way through the process of breastfeeding and weaning, and it really changes the shape of your body. So it can be very hard to have a positive body image. I understand that really well. To this day, will occasionally hear my mother's voice saying, oh, don't be a fatty, right? My mother has really a lot of issues with body image, and she forced that down the throats of her daughters. I have two sisters, and we all talk about it now that we're older and can kind of recognize it. And two of us are mothers, and it's shocking to think back on the things we heard, because I feel like neither my sister and I would ever talk to our kids about body image in that way, to try and kind of foist your own body image issues on them. Giant news flash, whoa, fat is not a bad thing. It's okay to have body fat. In fact, little known scientific secret, if you don't have body fat, you die. Women need body fat, it's okay. I remember growing up and fat was the worst thing you could be, along with other issues that they have. And so, I think that I had been trying to deal with that as an adult and, get a positive body image, and then being pregnant, which is this beautiful experience, but definitely then you have to kind of deal, I feel like it certainly triggered in me having to think and approach, how did I want to view my body? Did I want to constantly have a negative mantra in my little head? Did I constantly want to hear that negativity of oh, your body looks different, it's a different size? I remember postpartum, whenever my mother would see us, she would constantly comment on my body weight. I would say every 10 minutes, oh yeah, a little jiggly, oh yeah, you haven't lost the weight. I remember even my dad, who's normally better about this stuff, saying yeah, no, you haven't dropped that baby weight. We kind of thought you would. And I remember feeling so defeated about that, because I thought I was looking good, I felt good, I had lots of weight on from it still, but I was good with that. I was happy with my body. And I think that really brought me back to, you have to love your body yourself, right? No one will ever love you as much as you love yourself, and that self-love, that tending to your emotional and psychological needs, nobody else is going to do it for you. You gotta put that work on. So if you are expecting a little baby, if you are postpartum, and you're thinking to yourself, what are ways to try and get a good body image around pregnancy and motherhood, right? I think you first got to start with legitimately talking to yourself about, what are the little naysayer voices in your head? What are the bad things that your mind tells you every day about your body? And once you recognize those, instead of reinforcing them in your conscious day-to-day body hatred, you can tell them no. You can be no, I'm perfectly good enough. I'm beautiful the way I am. I'm healthy. I am happy, right? But you have to be able to recognize those crazy bad voices and the things they tell you, right? Because we all have that critique side of ourselves, where we're our harshest critic is ourselves, right? And that's influenced by our past and the media we consume. I saw a thing on Instagram that was a billboard from Calvin Klein from a decade ago and a billboard of Calvin Klein now. And the models on it were so different looking. And the first model was very much the traditional model, the aspirational, super skinny, so muscly, oh yeah, but somehow still has giant boobies. And the other woman's body was beautiful and natural and seemed more like a fabulous goddess body, right? It wasn't, you looked at her body and you felt, oh, I like my body. The other model, you kind of looked at your body and went, oh, I guess I'm not that, right? And what a difference what we consume and what we put in our faces is. I was trying to watch some Ally McBeal because a friend of mine said, oh, watch it, it's on Hulu. And I just couldn't do it. I was all these tiny little anorexic ladies who are clearly hungry. They're so hungry looking. I just couldn't do it. I could not. It's so nice to see contemporary television that has a diversity of form for women that's acceptable, right? Instead of going, only one way to be acceptable, everything else makes you a non-human practically. You know, any other body size, any other body type, any body shape. It's so nice that is changing. I love that. But definitely changing what media you're consuming. What Instagram accounts are you following? This is a big one I hear from mamas really frequently. If you follow accounts that you followed to begin with because you thought they're aspirational or they're inspirational, maybe they're going to inspire you to have some kind of lifestyle that you really want. A lot of times those accounts bring you down because it's just like having the critique negative voice in your head, right? That constantly critiques your body shape. Seeing accounts that constantly make you feel bad about your mothering and your body, your pregnant body or your postpartum body, about your home, it's going to be really hard to stay motivated, to stay upbeat and positive, and to legitimately change the way you view your body so that you love it. I mean, it's so powerful. I am so happy and I feel so silly for how many years I spent worried about how other people viewed my body, because I'm so much happier than when I cared what other people thought about my body. So much happier. I love my body, and I love my body as it is naturally. Not like, I wish I could do that, I wish I could do this. What about that? What if my body was like this? What if I only ate this carrot stick, right? I thought I was happy then, but no. There's that constant shadow over your life when you hate the body you're in, and when you constantly tell yourself that the way you look isn't good enough. Right? It just brings you down. And it's so beautiful to be able to change that and to really refocus and honestly tell yourself, oh, I actually really love this body. This is a nice body. We aren't aiming for perfection, right? We're aiming for happiness. And I think that sometimes that gets lost on us mamas. We think, oh, well, perfection is happiness. So if we get perfection, we'll be happy. And perfection is an illusion. It does not exist. There is no perfect thing. I've had moments in my life where I've, gotten to some stage or done some accomplishment, something that I thought in my mind years ago, perfection for this one thing, right? And I look around and I go, oh yeah, if I'm in a bad mood or if I'm in a bad mental place or emotional place, it really doesn't matter if I thought it was perfect at some point, right? It's kind of about how I'm seeing the world, how I'm experiencing it. Otherwise, perfect doesn't mean much, right? So those are ways that I've really tried to reshape how I view my body, how I love it. And it has made me so much more joyful, and I think more joyful and pleasant to be around. I feel like when you're constantly hating on your body, it kind of rubs off on everybody, right? That negativity, that lack of joy. I feel like when you are legitimately happy in your skin, you're like, oh yeah, my skin's good, I like it, that shows, right? And it rubs off on the people around you and makes them happier and more accepting of their bodies. One of the things that surprised me about my work is when I do my Patreon work, it's burlesque, so it shows a relatively large amount of skin, right? And that was something that I remember going into and being uncomfortable with because I thought my body wasn't pretty enough, good enough, the right shape, the right look, right? And as I got into it more and more, I've learned to love it more and more because it's all about loving your skin. And it's been such a good lesson for me that it wasn't about making my body look a certain way. It's just about loving my body as is, right? And that's how the playfulness of it comes out. That's been such a powerful thing. I always recommend to women, take photos of your body for yourself, keep them, and look back at them. Because I so appreciate that while I was pregnant with Abraham, that I took photos of my body and I can look back on it and go, oh my goodness, no wonder my body changed. And postpartum, to take photos of your body and to go back when you're having a really rough day, to go back and look at them and to appreciate, of course your body changes shape and look, elasticity, because our bodies are constantly doing all these amazing things, right? It's pretty great. And I hope that women, as we kind of become more self-aware of why we have these body image issues, is that we really start to address it and talk about it. So much of social media, and I would say in particular the mothering kind of media, is so judgmental and hateful. In fact, you've probably noticed I don't do as much mother content as I used to. And that's not for lack of content. I have lots of things I could talk about. It's because I would say that the parenting motherhood community is the most vicious online community I've ever been a part of. I really had to step back from my mental health. It's just been so judgmental and hateful from every single angle, you know, because you can never do everything right for everybody. People are always constantly going to be judging you. And I hope that the more us mamas are on social media, because I know you're scrolling through your phone. I know you are. I do it all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm paying attention to you, kid. Yeah, but oh, I just want to see this one Instagram post on, got a YouTube video. That we all become more self-aware of how that self-hatred and judgment towards ourselves comes out, and it's just vicious to other mothers, right? And that then pulls them down, right? If you're constantly being vicious to other women, it's really hard for them to pick themselves up and go, oh, I'm good enough. I'm happy. I'm good, you know? That's something social media has really shown me, is that it can be a really powerful tool for trying to break people down and crush them, because people are uncomfortable with who they are themselves, so they lash out. And that's why it's so important to love your body, right? Because when you're really content and happy in yourself, other people's hateful judgment, it just doesn't affect you the same way, right? It's like wearing this gorgeous armor, you know? You're like, you can shoot arrows at me and I'll notice, but it's not going to pierce the armor as much, you know? And since we all live in such a social media world, even if you weren't a social media, you know, content creator, right? You're on your Facebook getting feedback from your aunt about your breastfeeding photo that you posted. And, oh, look at that. Oh, isn't your butt looking fat while you're pregnant, you know, in your maternity shoot? Relatives can be just as hateful. That we've all got to learn how to navigate social media and body image as mothers, so that we kind of are prepared and we have that armor of self-love and self-acceptance for our bodies. Otherwise, it's a rough road, man. It really is. Yeah, it's not pleasant to go through life not loving yourself. And isn't it ridiculous that if you get to, you know, you're 90, right? And you look back and you go, man, I wish I had worn that swimsuit. I wish I would have worn those shorts even though I have cellulite. I wish I would have gone to that exercise class even though I was the heaviest in it. Gosh, I wish I would have gone and been silly with my kids and eaten food even though I felt like the food I was going to eat, people were going to judge me because I'm not the weight they think I should be. You know, there's so much that we contort ourselves as women because we think other people are going to judge us. And the biggest lesson, who cares? People are going to judge you no matter what. There are miserable, unhappy people everywhere in the world, and their favorite thing is to judge you and bring you down so that you can be as miserable as them, because they hate to see joy. So you know what? Go have fun. Go enjoy your body. Go be happy, because I think if lockdown is teaching us anything, life is short, you know? It is so short, and it's so worth it to love yourself and to be happy, because what's the alternative? Going through life miserable? That's for the internet trolls. Go through life with joy. I want to see you in the next video. I hope you give these a thumbs up. Boop. Until the next vlog, you can always follow along on Instagram. I link down in the description box. Oh yeah. I'll see you around. Oh hey, if you want some summer reading with body positivity, that's right, all my romance novels are very inclusive. They have different body types, different racial couples, different I have characters in my romances that are on the autism spectrum, because I really want my novels to speak to people and make them happy and joyful and playful, and realize that inclusivity doesn't have to be the serious topic where you're going to get punished if you don't get everything right, because that's not conducive to learning, right? Nobody learns anything when they're afraid that they're going to get punished if they don't get it right. It's just fun to have beautiful things to read that are fun, that are saucy, that are romantic, but that also include all these different types of people, right? Because life is this gorgeous melting pot of random people that we run across. Some of them are great, some of them not so great. Toss them aside and just be like, no thanks, no meanie pants. Yes, my love, that's my cue, because there's a little monkey that wants my attention. I will see you in the next video. I link to the books in the description box. Thank you so much for being a part of the Wholesome Feed community. We're almost to 250 subscribers. I'm so excited. I kind of want to get myself some balloons when we hit that. That's such a big milestone. I'm so excited that we're hitting that. I get a lot of mean internet trolls that are like, your channel's so small. And I'm really excited that we have this many subscribers. I think that's lovely that so many of you are interested in an honest view of parenting and motherhood, and an honest view from a woman being a mother, right? Because you don't give up being a woman just to be a mother. We're still people. And I think it's really important to talk about that and to have layers to our lives that includes all this wonderful stuff with motherhood, but also includes us as human beings and our lives and all the things that means and that takes up in space in our lives, right? I'll see you in the next video.